Alright, we're live today. Wait for some people to jump on. And we're going to get somebody. One live. Steve Cassie Walker. What's going on, bud? Thanks for jumping on. Sorry for the crazy time differences that I'm doing. I know no one's really live yet, but anyone that watches or watches the recording, know that my man Steven Walker from Walker Promotes. If you have someone or you know someone that's running a business, I recommend you look them out on Facebook. Stephen Cassie Walker of Walker Promotes just had a baby. She's all healthy. Everything's good. His business is good. He's doing big things, making connections with Grant Cardone and Brad Lee. So I want to appreciate him sharing this out. Catherine, how are you? And anyone that does watch this, if you feel so compelled, I would really appreciate it if you share it out. The more people we get on there. Proc, my buddy Proc, what's going on, bud? Some big things going on in my life, and I'd like to touch base with you, Proc, if I could, bud. But, so for anyone that's, we're going to get rolling as people start coming in. Anyone that's first time watching the live, hasn't watched the live, right now, usually it's a motivational moment for your day, trying to get your day going. The last week and a couple weeks moving forward, I'm going to discuss my book, which is Find Your Playlist. And each day I'm going to talk about a chapter in the book. The book is basically about how I went from one of my darkest points in my life personally and being depressed and not wanting to be here and really just sick and tired of who I was, the failures I had continued to make, and how I was able to use music to really, as the catalyst, to turn my mind and turn my mindset around. It really shifted everything, every part of my life, and led me to the path that I'm on right now and the journey I'm on, which is taking me from the very safe confines of my previous career to what I'm embarking on now, which personally is more satisfying. It's not as lucrative at the moment, but it is. That's the whole idea behind the book, Find Your Playlist, is to find your purpose and find your why. And it's also meant for anyone that's struggling with who they are in life, struggling with what they might be going through, struggling with where they're going. So, Chapter 1 was, thank you, Stephen, thank you very much. Chapter 1 was Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which it's going to take the reader basically to where I was in that point. It's going to, and we all can relate to that time period where there's a situation or a point in our life where we just don't ever want to go back to that time, you know, and to take me to the place I love. And that's what I was yearning for in that time period, was take me back to almost the time when we're kids, and you have that sense of innocence and freedom. And if more of us thought like a child does and has that fearlessness of a child, and that before they're able to be molded and develop limiting beliefs. But so that's what Chapter 1 was about. Chapter 2 is Dave Matthews Band, Rhyme and Reason, and that song talks about just not being Victor. How are you? Good morning, sir. Rhyme and Reason talks about depression, being in a dark place, having your head in a dark place, and feeling like you just want to end the pain, and that's kind of where I was. Bobby Odo, my man, longtime friend, DJ, doing big things down in Florida. Very excited. Thanks for joining, Bobby. If you haven't checked out him or his music, check it out. Nick Houston, Eugene. Hello, guys. So Chapter 2, Rhyme and Reason by Dave Matthews Band, was basically about that. It was how I was just in this terrible spot mentally. And from the outside, good morning, Victor. From the outside, everything looked good, but inside, everything was a mess. And most people will turn to drugs or some sort of substance abuse to really numb the pain, and that's kind of what it was. In hindsight, I look back, and not that I was a coward, but it's an easy way because you completely get rid of the pain. And for a lot of people, it's the only way to do that. And that's kind of what happens when we're in that state of mind, when we're in a depressed state, and that song just resonated with me. Like, this is where I'm at, and I need to move past that, and which leads into chapter 3, which is DMX's song, Lord Give Me a Sign. And anyone that's been in a bad spot, helper's on. Hello, Steph. Love you, babe. Anyone that's been in a bad spot, you're looking for an answer. You're searching for the why, right? You're searching for, why does this happen to me? Or give me a sign that something's going to happen. Something, how am I going to get through this? And for me, my sign was my family, and they've always been there, but, reaching out and giving me positive feedback and the love and support of my family and friends was great. But as the book entails, music, when words failed, music spoke. And I use that quote, and I'll use it throughout the description of the book, because that's what happens. Music, again, transcends who we are and transcends race, religion, social status, any of those barriers that we've built up over time. And so my family helped me out, and then there was an unfortunate occurrence where a lot of our friends lost a friend. We lost him to his battle with depression and finally suicide. And that was a sign for me that dropped from the sky and says, look, you're not far from that position, that situation. And seeing the effects firsthand up close on what it does to people, siblings, and all that, caused me to realize it's time to do something and make an impact. And that's where, I'm hoping that my story, somebody can relate to, somebody it helps get through, and maybe I'll be their sign, maybe not. But rather than keep it in, it'd be selfish of me to keep this in. I'm a pretty transparent person, so I have no problem letting this out there. Some people do, and maybe this is what they need. So that sign that I got of a very unfortunate loss for so many people is kind of what was the sign that I was looking for, to say, you know what, it's time to do something about it, rather than just wallow in my own self-pity, really. Chapter 4 was Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, and I think that is a very pivotal song and a very, very pivotal message that people, so many of us really, some might not even ever really get in that, and that is that the words in that song, Man in the Mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and that man in the mirror is the only person. You can ask, and I asked, why me, right? And that's what I think what people that are battling depression might ask themselves is, oh, why me? And why me? It doesn't serve us any purpose. Why me? And you're very right, Tracy. You're very right. And if more people can get that message, and I wasn't necessarily blaming folks, I wasn't blaming personally, literally calling family members, out. I wasn't personally calling out, my boss or my employees or my girlfriend or society. I wasn't blaming any of them, but I wasn't, thank you, Tracy, very much for sharing this out. I wasn't accepting the responsibility for the choices that I made in my life. I just, this is who I am. And rather than knowing I didn't want to be that person, but still being that person, I'm responsible. We're the only people that are responsible for the situation we're in. And that is what, Kyle, awesome. Congratulations, man. I'll definitely like to check your book out. Absolutely. That's awesome. Brent, how are you? And that's really what it comes down to. That's what that message is in chapter 4, is that we need to look in the mirror. If we're looking for the answer, Ralph Waldo Emerson said it when he said that when the question arrives, the answer is always near. And the answer a lot of times is going to be that reflection that you get back in the mirror. And the sooner that we can accept that, and the sooner that we can get that message, I think the sooner we can move forward. Yeah, Steven, I love it. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. Absolutely great. The sooner that we can get that message, anyone that's looking for a good read, Foster's to Foster was by Nicole. She just recently put that book out. I recommend checking her out as well. Thanks everyone for the shares. So that's what chapter 4 was about, the message in that song, Man in the Mirror. Chapter 5, after I was willing to accept responsibility, fully accept that it was only on me, I was able to, the next song really lit me up, and that was Dave Matthews Band. And Dave Matthews Band is his song, Where Are You Going? For a parent or loved one addict. So incredibly difficult. It is. It's really, that person needs to, they need to want it. You know, my father always told me, without getting too far off topic, but my father always said that, you know, you need to get tired of it. You can try and help somebody out as much as you want. It's the same thing goes with anyone that wants to change or that needs to change. You could try your hardest, but if that person doesn't want to change, all the help in the world, all the programs in the world, they're just not going to, they're not going to work. You've got to want to change, and if you don't, my father said, when you get tired of it, you'll know it. Some people don't. Some people don't get that chance, and I wish it was easier than that, but it's just not. You know, Facebook has a thing out there which talks about, there's a video that shows, you know, an alcoholic father and then two twin sons, and one becomes an alcoholic and one doesn't. And why not? They're both from the same DNA, the same, you know, hereditary, if you will. Why does one become one and one doesn't? And that has to do with perception and what goes on in our minds. We are the solution to our problems. And after I kind of got that, then it was like, okay, well, where am I going? And that's what that song, Dave Matthews Band, that song resonated with me. Where am I going in life? What am I doing? Is this the direction I'm on? Is this the path that I want to be on? And if not, that led me into the next chapter, which was another Dave Matthews Band song, which I talked about yesterday, which was Gaucho. And in there he says that we got to do more than just believe if we want to see the world change. And there's so much truth and reality in music, and so much, and that's what this book is about. That's what the music did for me. And that song Gaucho spoke to me again, because I had all these things that I wanted to do in life, and all these initiatives and goals, and belief in myself, and others had belief in me, but this song just kind of slapped me in the face, like, wake up, you know, belief's only going to get you so far. And belief is great. It's probably one of the toughest things to really do. I said it yesterday when I was talking about it, but Les Brown said it, and a lot of people that are extremely wealthy will tell you that the hardest thing wasn't making the money. The hardest thing was believing that they were capable, believing in themselves that they were worthy of it, and believing that it could happen to them. But once you get that belief in yourself, you need to do more than just believe. And I needed, you know, for someone that wants to do big things and change the world, change people and how we treat other people, I needed to change myself. I mean, I couldn't change anyone else if I couldn't, in fact, change myself. And that was the slap in the face, proverbial slap in the face that said, all right, you need to do something different. You need to do something vastly different, and you need to be the one that does it. And just talking about it, just believing it, good morning, Tony, was not going to change that. Wasn't going to, you know, believing and thinking is absolutely where it starts. But from there, you need to start taking action. And that was, you know, that song Gaucho I listened to quite frequently. Listen to a lot of Dave, but that song in particular, I think is one that I think the world needs to hear. We all, especially in the world we live in today, we complain about the way things are, but we need to change who we are first. You know, our governments aren't going to change anything. The inner cities aren't going to change. You know, the governments and law enforcement, as much as they can, they're not going to change that. The people have to change. You have to want to change yourself. We need to quit looking for everyone else to help us change, and we need to start being the change. Again, Mahatma Gandhi quote, be the change that you seek in the world. And we can wish for change all we want. We can believe in change. But until we change, until I change, until you change, you won't see any difference. Ashley Mahalski, how are you? Much love to you. We're talking about Dave Matthews Band. Yesterday's song of Gaucho, which, you know, you and I conversed quickly on. But that is just a huge message that I think so many of us need to really grasp, and that we need to do more than just believe if we want to see the world change. Which leads me into chapter 7 for me, which is a very, if you've read the hashtags here, Eminem's Lose Yourself. And that was, I mean, I think anyone who struggled with anything can relate, even people that don't like rap. I mean, Eminem really, in that song, people that don't know anything about hip-hop or rap. Hello, Val. Good to see you. My sister Andrea, I love you. That's what it is. I mean, Eminem's song, I talked about a few minutes ago about music transcending everything, every aspect. And Eminem was one of those artists, I think, who does that. And who really did that with this song, Lose Yourself. And that's what it was for me. For me, I needed to lose myself in order to find myself, to find my playlist, if you will. That's what I need to do, and that's what we have to do sometimes, especially, is just completely lose everything that we've believed about ourselves before. Put it all behind you. Because in that song, and that's the lyrics of the song, which I wanted to use in the book, but for copyright purposes I cannot. I can use the titles. But the words in that song speak, Stephen, I know, thank you very much, man. We need to be that, we need to realize that there is only one shot here. There's one opportunity. This song and the lyrics spoke to me in ways, and every song in the book really did. Every song they put in there, obviously it's in there for a reason. However, this song and the heart in the middle of the book, and actually, if I had to pick, from the start, but once you get past, I think, The Man in the Mirror into there, every song every chapter builds up on responsibility and realization. And the realization I got that I needed to completely realize that we get one opportunity. I had wanted to do more in my life for years. I'm going on at least 5 to 6 years. And I made it known that this wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something else with my life, but I was just talking about it, George Bernard Shaw talks about, looking for opportunity. If it's not there, you've got to go and create it. And I needed to create it. The opportunity wasn't coming to me. I needed to go and create that opportunity, which I'm in the midst of. And maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe you're holding back. But here's the one thing that I've realized in writing this book, okay, or finalizing it. I started writing it before August, but from August to this point, I've had, and I mentioned it in an earlier video, I lost a friend in August. I lost a family member in September. I lost a close friend of the family in October. My uncle passed away from a completely rare cancer, unforeseen, in a matter of a week, in his early 50s in November, right before Thanksgiving. We were good for December. Lost my grandmother January 1st. Lost my aunt this past month. Life is short. You get one of these things. You get one of this thing called life, and that's what this song says. You've got to be ready for the opportunity when it comes, and you need to seize the opportunity, and you can continue to wait for that time to come, or wait for it to happen or fall in your lap, but it's just not going to happen. It just does not work like that. My father said it when I was playing hockey as a kid. I would wait for the puck to get to me, and he had said that, you can't wait for the puck. If you want it bad enough, you've got to go and get it. And that same principle applies in life. If you want something bad enough, you've got to go and get it, because you only get one shot. In that matter of that hockey game, in that sense, you get one game, you get 60 minutes. You got to lay it all out there. And in life, you only get one life. There's no guarantee of anything. There's no guarantee of tomorrow. Absolutely right. Bobby Elder just said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's so true. And I wasn't willing to take that shot on myself. So many of us aren't. But at the end of the day, what do we have? The person that we, the person that we want to become, we need to take the steps to become him. And we need to realize that whatever it is you want to do, maybe you want to do some coaching, coaching the young athletics. Maybe you want to, open your own bakery, whatever it is you love to do. And you might say, well, I can't make a living doing that, and Earl Nightingale said, don't search for the money, become a success. And a success is anyone that's working toward a worthy goal that they want to reach. And once you become that success, the money will come after it. Steve Jobs says it, famously, love what you do. And that's what I needed to do. That's what I wanted to do. I only get one shot at this thing called life. We only have one opportunity, one chance to make it work. And there is no guarantee. In fact, the only guarantee is that we're all going to die. That's it. When? Who knows? And I've lost enough people along the way. I've got a very big family, a wide circle of friends throughout life, and I've lost a great number of people. old age, young age, some well before their time, others, lived a very full life. But we don't know when that day is going to come. You don't know. We all wait for some day. Well, some day is not a day of the week. And it doesn't just happen. So you have, in order to be successful, and in order to be ready for that opportunity, you got to be prepared. You got to prepare yourself. Success happens when preparation meets opportunity. And so you need to be prepared for whatever that opportunity is. But remember this, the longer you wait, the further you get away from it. And for me, I couldn't do it another day. It's everything to do with inside. I knew that there were things that I wanted to do in life, and that's what I did. I took the plunge. I left a very stable career to do something that I'm passionate about. And that's the whole concept of the book, is to find your playlist in life. Find whatever your purpose is in life and run after it and go after it, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And we all think it is, but the reality is a lot of times it hits us when we lose a loved one. Like, oh man, I hate to see you under these circumstances. Maybe we should get together, but under better circumstances. How often have we said that? And how often have we actually gotten together with that person that we said that to? Life is short. You don't know when your time's going to come. You don't know when your dash is going to end. And the one thing I was in at my younger brother's national hockey tournament, and we were just watching Discovery Channel while we were eating breakfast in the morning, and there was something about flight, or the flight, in the Hudson, and the new movie that's out, Sully, and that experience, and the people that were on that plane. And the thing that really stuck with me out of the whole thing, the journey and the actual way that it happened is a miracle in itself. The guy made an unbelievable landing in water and saved every person on that plane. It was a remarkable event, but the thing that stuck with me was what the people on the plane had said. And they started questioning on whether or not they had lived the life that they wanted. They didn't think that their life was going to end coming back from vacation or anything like that. Will, how are you, bud? Thanks for joining. They didn't think that when on that flight that landed over the Hudson. And an overwhelming, every person on that plane had said and thought to themselves, did I live the life that I want? Am I happy with the life that I lived to this point? And that's a question that most of us don't ask until it's too late. What's going on, Will? Will's a longtime buddy back from college. Thanks for joining, sir. But that's what this song is about. That's what this chapter is about in the book. It's about the fact that we only get one shot. So what are you going to do with your one shot? What are you going to do with your life? Maybe you are living your dreams and you're doing what it is you want to do, then keep doing it. But don't keep it to yourself. Encourage others to do the same. Encourage others to be that inspiration for somebody else, to live out their dreams, because, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's just the harsh reality of it. I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I go to church every Sunday, I believe in God, I'm hoping to go to heaven, but there is no guarantee of anything. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get there. I believe that I'm going to get there, I don't know it. So in the meantime, we've got to do what it is that we love to do, because we don't know when our time's going to come. And so as I'm getting through, going through the book, that's what Eminem, that's what this song Lose Yourself is really all about. And it's a song that anyone can relate to. That you really only get one shot, one kick at the can. And, thank you very much, Will. I'd love to connect with you, man. It's been a while. But that's what this message is all about. So, if you're doubting yourself, that's why I got in and got into the field that I'm into now. That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing now is because that's what I want to do. I want to make a difference in somebody else's life, one way or another. Maybe it's through these live feeds. I had a gentleman that I just met through here and commented on the fact that he loved, the content, and he had his own struggles, and that's the difference maker for me. That's what it means. Gabriella, I love you, babe. good luck to your father in surgery. I didn't know he was having it, but wishing him the best of luck. He'll be doing good. So that is what that's what it means. That's what chapter 7 is. Anyone that knows me, and if you've been on these, you know that I can go off on tangents. Sometimes I like to have an outline, but when it comes straight from the heart, I think it's a little bit more. It's more meaningful. There's no script here, but really, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy Ann. Good luck on the first meeting of the day, Tracy. But that's what it is. That's what chapter 7 is all about. Anyone knows who Eminem is. You don't even have to be anyone to know who Eminem is. Everyone knows this song. If you're in a bad spot, if you're questioning some things in life, listen to it. It's straight, it's to the point, and that's what it was for me. It was, look, you get one shot. You want to do this, you need to do it, and you need to take responsibility for whatever it is. You got to create the opportunity that you want in life, because we only get one of them. That's it. I wish that there was, proof on anything else, but there's not. There's belief, and at the same time, I did throw out Mom's spaghetti before pie. Absolutely, Gabby. That's what I want everyone to get from this chapter, is that you really have got to, you've got to embrace your life. You've got to embrace who you are, and you've got to do whatever it is that you want to do that's going to make you happy. Because tomorrow, for all we know, could be it. It's a somber analogy. I don't like to think in morbid thoughts, but sometimes we have to realize that in order to push us to get to the point that we want to get to. And this song does that. It did that for me. I hope it does for you guys. That's all I got for you today. We went through the first 7 chapters. Tomorrow will be chapter 8. And again, we'll get in through it. Hopefully this was of some level of inspiration for you, some level of motivation. Hopefully you can relate to the song, to the message in the song, and that we really only get one shot, and that whatever it is you want to do, find out and start figuring out how you're going to do it, and start preparing for that opportunity, because when it comes, you want to be prepared. You don't want to start preparing when that opportunity comes. So guys, that's all I got. I hope you have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Wednesday. We'll talk about chapter 8, and we'll keep moving forward and find your playlist, and I will continue to edit it and hopefully have it ready to go. Hello, Nancy. Have the book ready to go by April 1st. That's our hopeful, our penciled in release date. So guys, have a great, Steve Bennett, sorry bud, catching you at the end. Have a great Tuesday, and we will see you on Wednesday and talk about chapter 8. Victor, have a great day. Guys, I'm out.